Canisius head coach Reggie Witherspoon. Coach, if you want to open with a comment, we'll take questions.
I think it was a pretty intense game on both parts. Iona's a really good team is probably an obvious statement. On our end, I thought the first half we've got to find a way to convert shots around the basket. Even though this is a terrific shot blocking team, they blocked 10 tonight. And in the second half, we had some loud turnovers that. Again, when you're playing a team of this caliber, you can't do that, and particularly if you're shooting 3 for 16 from 3. So those are things that we have to improve on.
Reggie, you go on the 20-4 run, end of the first, early in the second, you take the lead coming out of halftime. What went wrong after that? You mentioned the turnovers. What else could you say about the team's effort, though, on top of that?
I think the turnovers, because what happens is, and this is their style. It's not by accident, right? They're going to try and force you into situations like that when you turn it over for touchdowns. It goes the other way. Those are shots they almost can't miss. And then when you do that, the pressure seems to mount because you're trying now, instead of being aggressive offensively, you're trying not to turn it over. I think that was a huge part of the game. Now again, we were 3 for 10 in the second half and shooting 3, and that was actually a huge improvement because we were over 5 in the first half. So, but I think that was the biggest part for us, that in terms of what went wrong, several things, but that's the biggest part.
Now, you've been in a lot of these games in this last stretch, but just haven't been able to close. How frustrating is that with this group?
It's frustrating, Peyton, but we just try to look at these areas of the game and see where we can, get better. We knew that we weren't going to be able to come in and just dominate teams every day, right? So we've got to just approach it like, okay, we've got to find a way to get better. What I told the team was, we did some good things, okay, but until we can learn from those good things and the things that we need to improve at, then you don't accomplish anything. And if we can learn from them and get better, then we've made some headway.
You get good games from Malik and from Yako. The effort that they've given you down low, what can you say about those two and how they've led this group with their experience too?
Yeah, we seem to have like we've got five bigs that we play. And it seems like of late, every day somebody's sick or hurt. And so those two guys played a lot of minutes today, probably more than normal, and gave us some really, really good minutes. Yako, 12 points and 10 rebounds. He made some mistakes defensively, but 34 minutes is a heck of a lot. Probably, I don't know that he's played more than 34 minutes in a game this year. So, and X was a tough day for him, but a freshman's going to have some ups and downs, this is the day that he's got to learn from.
3 games left. Two of them are at home before you go to AC. You're going to have to play on Tuesday. How encouraging is it to have 2 more at home and maybe build some momentum to have to play 4 games potentially if you make a run?
Well, you know what? We got this next one on the road against Quinnipiac, and we've got to get ourselves in a mindset of saying no matter where it is, right? We've got to really play with a better purpose and consistency so that it doesn't much matter where we're playing. That's got to be what we've got to get to. And that's a hard place to get to, but we can because we played, most of these games have been really close games that we've had some really good minutes, but in order for us to sustain a high quality of play, we got to be more consistent.
How does Iona having Shima in the lineup
differ?
Change them or just elongate like their ability to have productivity out of the center spot?
So that's a good question because, those guys, it's okay for them to get tired now. You know what I mean? Nelly G and Joseph can get a little tired, and they don't lose any rim protection. There's certain things that they don't lose if both those guys are playing really well, and that does affect their opponent, which happened to be us tonight, and our effectiveness around the basket. You know, you block 10 shots. If you take that and take that number down to 2 or 3, we had 3 today. Take that down to 3. That makes a difference, a huge difference in the game. And that's just the number of blocked shots. But there's additional times when guys just aren't comfortable around the basket anymore because of the length and shot blocking ability of both of those guys. And they can play rested. You know, they're not dragging. You know, we have a few guys because of, you know, circumstances on our end that have to play through those times when they're really, really tired. And that's just the way it is. But I think his production off the bench is more than about the numbers.
Take one more for Coach.
Coach, is going to ask you about the impact of the transfer portal this year. When you look at Iona with Elijah Joyner, Tyson Jolly coming in, and Quinn Zielinski, how has it worked for you? How do you see it in basketball this year?
The portal has, you know, it's a good question. We could, how much time you have? The portal has changed everything. I just hope that the kids aren't getting the wrong idea about persevering through difficult times. I hope we're not messing them up for when 10 years from now is coming. I always say, my wife gets tired of hearing me say that, but 10 years from now is coming for all of us. And, you know, that baby's gonna cry in the middle of the night and you can't transfer to the next house. You know, so I just hope that we're not messing them up. But it has, in terms of it changing, recruiting, it obviously has had a big change on it. And, you know, guys can come in and play right away. You know, so the two of those, you know, it's really, you know, you don't have to, I mean, the notion that you're playing guys and getting them to develop is maybe a little less when you have experienced guys that can come in and play right away.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, everybody.